Broadcasting from Silicon Valley, California, this is Conversations with Jennylyn.
Welcome to the debut of our new show, Diversity Matters. Diversity Matters is designed to be a forum where panelists from around the globe bring their different perspectives and extraordinary experiences to bear on controversial and timely issues. Our discussions will be authentic, uncensored, and entertaining. We will agree to disagree peacefully. Tonight, I'm excited to introduce my outstanding panelist, Australia's Sasha Kaluri. Welcome, Sasha.
Hey, everyone.
Silicon Valley's Adib Karam. Welcome, Adib.
Hello, hello.
New York's Amanda Donaldson. Amanda, welcome.
Hello.
And Dr. Daniel Beeling. It's Santa Cruz, California. Welcome, Dr. Beeling.
Glad everyone can gather.
Yes, this is very exciting. So I'm sure we have a lot to talk about. And so I'm going to throw the first question out there. And I'm going to start with Dr. Beeling. Tell me what does the phrase diversity matters mean to you?
Well, United States is called the melting pot, and that is that it's built upon the premise that we are for the people, whether that be someone from another country or someone that was born here or has generations here. We appreciate diversity. If we didn't have the mixed races in with us, we would be abandoning cultural development. There's nothing more that could be said for other cultures because Americans have very little culture by themselves. So they're because we destroyed most of the indigenous American Indian culture, which has a lot of secrets about how we could be saving the planet Earth, and we just disposed of them in an evil movement that happened a couple hundred years ago. we treasure people from other countries to come here and to contribute. You can't say enough about it, whether it be in music with African American cultures, whether it be in the computer industry with the Indian cultures, spirituality, mixture, not just Christian, but that we learn to tolerate each other is a spiritual effort and a spiritual goal that has nothing to do with a religion. And so that's the great thing about this country and what it was meant to be. However, it's veered off into the wrong direction now, and we've got to steer it back carefully.
Thank you so much, Danielle. Same question, Adib.
So to me, diversity matters to me means that it's important to respect what other cultures and acknowledge, actually probably better word than respect, acknowledge what other cultures and ways are valuable to whatever endeavor. We see that, especially here in Silicon Valley, we see that people from different backgrounds, whether you're poor or whether you're rich, when it comes to coding, it's really the way you think. And the fact that you come from a different way of thought helps whatever company that you're in make a better product, be a better city, make a better government. I just see that we should look for value, not just in one culture, but see what other cultures have to offer, what other ways of thinking have to offer. I think diversity goes beyond culture, and it goes to really the way you think.
Okay, thank you, Adib. Amanda, same question. Your microphone is up.
Yes, I just muted.
Yeah, when I hear the word diversity, especially living here in New York City, where we're in a multicultural environment, whether it's Queens, Brooklyn, the whole of New York City. There are people from many, many, many different cultures. We are the great example of what the melting pot is. And each people from different areas or countries coming here bring with them not only their culture, way of life, but they're able to bring with them whatever knowledge as well, and to integrate that in what we already have. Because and that being said, that's how the country has been developed for many years. Because even though there are people from different races or whatever, their backgrounds are all different, whether it's European or South American or elsewhere. All the backgrounds are different. And just by coming together as one people um, in this great country and contributing to, you know, the way was going until recently. Um, it's really a wonderful place to be. At least that's what I thought it was when I came here 20 something years ago.
Thank you, Amanda. Sasha!
Hey, well, when I think about diversity, I kind of look at it in a bigger and broader way. I don't necessarily just think about culture, because I think culture is just one individual part of it. I like to recognize everything that diversity means, and that is not only just within culture, but also in our own gender, our sexual orientation, our socioeconomic status, our age, our physical ability, our religious beliefs, our political beliefs, ideology, because it's just that we have so much to learn from everybody. When we think about when politics describes a family, those families are very, very small. Now a family is so much bigger, of how you put two parents and some kids together. It can mean that, there are people that are being adopted. There are people from different families that are all living together. There are people that are sharing accommodation. So I really want to, when I think of diversity, I look at and say, what does all of these things mean when we put them all together and we all share this one planet, and we all understand that we are, nobody is above us and nobody is below us. We are all equal, and it doesn't matter, again, on all of that, because I think so much of us try to portray that we have what society believes to be this perfect lifestyle and the perfect family and the perfect socioeconomic status, and and in all of those ways. And so diversity for me is being able to learn from all of these things, because once you change somebody's physical ability, they can completely be within a culture that you may understand, but you change their physical ability and it changes something. You change their gender and their belief, on their religious beliefs or anything like that. It changes absolutely everything. And then you add in their political beliefs and their ideologies, all of that stuff. That's what diversity means. So I hope that being a part of this group and this show, we get to open up Pandora's box on all of these issues and discuss all of them.
Thank you so much, Tasha. Amanda, what is your reaction to the results of the election? And we're going to try to keep it down to a minute or two so we can all.
Okay. So my reaction, lack of sleep. That's the first. I was up all night, couldn't sleep, watching and watching and watching, waiting to see what the results were going to be. Then eventually, just getting anxiety issues, basically. So my reaction now, because now I've been able to realize that, okay, all votes
would have to be counted. So let's wait and see the final count in all areas, even though I know Joe Biden is the next president. So I am elated about that, but I'm also very nervous in a way because of things that are not written in the Constitution and can take things in a different direction that I am not looking forward to
Okay,
at
we
this
will
time.
come back to that.
So yes.
Thank you, Amanda. Danielle,
Okay.
you got to put your microphone on.
Okay.
Try to keep it down to 2 minutes.
Okay. So the reaction to the election. I think that we're in a situation that's very similar, being from a Jewish background, to Germany in around 1936, when the economy was terrible in Germany, and there was a guy that came and said, I will fix it. I will do everything for Germany, and we will prosper. And it's all about money, and it's all about getting everything to the people under a socialist kind of title that has nothing to do with present day socialism as it's practiced in Sweden, in Scandinavia, in Germany today. And this is, if you can't recognize that Trump is fascist, he's friends with members of the Ku Klux Klan and the John Birch Society, some of the most dark, racist and bigoted groups, then there's something wrong. It's the most blatant display of the new fascism, and he's got 45 to 50% of the American people fooled. So I think that we're in a very dangerous situation, especially in the next 2 months, when he's going to try to extend his presidency like Putin on for endless amount of years. So we're at an extremely dangerous. We have about 10 seconds to total nuclear war. If you have been paying attention to the threat of the nuclear situation with the clock that's being analyzed by scientists. We need to follow science. We need to do something about global warming. Biden is the answer, along with Kamala Harris, who's one of the most brilliant people we have as possible to be a leader in this country. So I have hope, just like I'm sure Amanda does, and I'm sure you do, and most of us do. But we're up against someone who is a very, very dangerous man.
Thank you, Danielle. Thank you. Adib.
Yeah, it was. I think I share some of the concern that Daniel has, but not for the same reasons. Socialism, I think I don't see it. I mean, I've heard the fascism argument, but I am concerned. I'm concerned because he just recently fired the Secretary of Defense. That was the same Secretary of Defense that said no to turning the troops on American people. Hey, Daniel, I'm sorry. Can you put your mute back on?
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you. No worries. So it is concerning. It is concerning to me. I think the next few days, few weeks, possibly 2 months are going to be scary in America until we realize who's going to be president. It looks like Joe Biden now, but it hasn't been certified. Not a single state has certified the vote. So until that happens, there's a lot of room for somebody to try to do something, and it's very concerning. It's very concerning when you see the prices of guns, the lack of availability of guns, the lack of availability of bullets, the price of bullets in the United States. Everybody's stocking up. Everybody's very, very nervous. The country's divided. I mean, Trump got more votes than any other president in history, and arguably Biden got more votes than that. So I think I'm extremely tense. I don't believe Trump is Hitler. I think the economy's done very well, even under the pandemic, but that's because of the stimulus, not because the economy is actually doing well. So we have, you know, the GDP is very strong in this country, and we'll have to see what happens. I don't see the comparison to Germany though whatsoever.
Okay, Sasha.
Wow, that's a hard act to follow on what you guys have just talked about. For me, look, I'm looking for how this has affected Australia as well, because, you know, we're your best friends. We love you guys, and you guys love us, and we've always been a team and working together. And so, what, you know, our news has been covering all of your election, and we've been up to date with what's been going on. And I look at it. One of the things that I've been happy, you know, being able to see that people have been on the streets and have been really happy that Biden, you know, has won, or so-called has won, you know, with what's going on with the votes at the moment. It hurts me to think that there's all of this stuff going on with illegal voting, and I don't seem to get my head around all of that, because I can't understand that, you know, this is 2020 and we're in a, you know, we're talking about the free world, and yet we're talking about votes that are being manipulated here. And that actually is quite hurtful to even think, because, you know, I can't even believe that would even happen in my own country. That's the primary part of freedom, being able to do that. And I think that counting the votes is the most important thing that could possibly need to be done. I guess that the reaction of this is we just need to be able to come together as a global world, to be able to come together and know that we are, rather than kind of thinking, you know, if America can't even make friends with each other in the group, how, you know, within its own country, how are we supposed to work as a world, you know, as a planet, to be able to come together and agree on taking care of the planet? And I think that is so important. And I think that we need to take care of our own healthcare system, these basic things that we need to take care of.
Amanda, do you feel that our elections were manipulated?
I don't feel so at all. The process of mailing in votes was something there for a long time. It's nothing new. But I guess Trump thought that by manipulating that system, because that's exactly what he did when he hired the Postmaster General, who deliberately caused mails to be delayed to get out to the people. That's voter suppression. That's one way. And by doing all that, he probably thought that somehow he could say, well, those votes are not valid. Only the votes where the people actually went to the polling stations and voted, or maybe dropped off their votes, and that's it. So when the count was done that night and he saw that he was ahead, he thought, that's it, so let's stop counting. But then when he realized that the states that he thought were the states that he would be winning in are not, that's not what it was. It was Biden taking the lead there.
Thanks.
So the manipulation of all of this and saying these things, I mean, as somebody who, any person who voted, they want their votes to be counted, because whatever it took for them to get there, voting is a privilege.
Thank you so much, Amanda. I don't want to cut you off, but thank you. Same question, Daniel, your microphone is off.
I'm back on.
Were manipulated?
Of course not. It's exactly as Amanda said it. You know, this is just typical of a fascist. You know, he just does everything. He's always done this. He's done this for his whole life. People who knew him in business in New York know that he was one of the biggest criminals you could know. He's not acting any differently than he has. He's a malignant narcissist. He's a psychopath. There were 2,000 psychiatrists that evaluated him based upon studying his behaviors. He's a very dangerous man. Have you ever known a narcissist? I'm sure all of you have gotten mixed up with narcissists in your lives. They're not well, and there's nothing you can do about them. You have to distance yourself. And we have this guy who's our president. No, he's sick. He's organizing viewpoints that just completely are aimed to disrupt. He's a great disruptor. He's a very dangerous man. Of course, the elections were not rigged. This is real. This is common sense. And he's fooled half the people. That's what a dictator does. That's what Hitler does. If you've known any Germans during the war, I have 50 trips to Germany. I studied there. I know people that were sons of the SS. They'll tell you exactly what I'm telling you.
Thank you so much, Danielle. We'll be back with you. Adib, your microphone is off.
No, I know. Well, let's get it straight. First of all, voting is not a privilege. Voting is a right. In the United States, voting is a right. We all the votes must be counted. I completely agree with that. But to think that, you hear the way Daniel is describing President Trump, you don't think people would do malicious things to try to get rid of him? You don't think, and people who love him, you don't think they'll do malicious things to keep him in power? I mean, of course there was cheating. How much cheating is the question? Was there enough cheating to actually change the election? And we don't know, because we have terrible voting laws. There's the problem with mail-in ballots and the way we did mail-in ballots with now. I mean, it's just a basic fact. With mail-in ballots, if you can get a hold of a ballot, you can vote. It doesn't have to be your ballot. If you get a hold of it, you steal it, you can vote. And if you mail it and somebody knows you're a Republican or a Democrat and they happen to be the opposite, they can throw it away. And we know that. So to do it on a massive scale, whatever cheating was happening in the past, and if you don't think there was cheating in the past, seriously, look at how many people we have in jail. We don't break laws in the United States. Of course we break laws. Of course people try to cheat. Of course we have to put things into place to make sure that people don't cheat. And to just say, oh, this is perfect, nobody cheated, I'm sorry, it's naive. It makes no sense to me. But the question is, was there significant amount of cheating? We know there was cheating. You got to assume there was cheating. If you assume there was no cheating, I mean, I have nothing more to say. If that's what people like on this panel believe. Of course there was. The question is, how much cheating? Whether the president is a good guy or a bad guy, it doesn't matter. We, the public, get to decide whether he gets 4 more years or not, right? If he fools more people than not, if he is a bad guy and he fooled more people than not, then he gets to go back. That's our system. Now, if he's cheating to go back, or if somebody else is cheating to get him out, well, we need to find these people. We need to make sure that they get punished. We need to make sure they get punished hard. And if there's enough to change the election, we need to change the election. That's just common sense. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter whose side you're on. That's just common sense democracy.
Thank you so much, Adib. Sasha, I know you're in Australia. Do you think that there was cheating in our elections? Looking in from the outside.
Do I think that there was cheating? Well, listening to Adib, when you just say that, of course there was, that's absolutely horrific to me. That to think that you've almost set yourself up as a standard to say, yeah, of course there was. Like that there's almost there's no pros or cons to it. It doesn't happen in our country. We have a very good system about how we can do postal votes. There's barcodes. Every individual person gets a barcode, and everybody gets ticked off the list as it comes in. And then, I know that you guys aren't going to like this, but if you don't actually vote, we get a fine. So it's a completely different system. That's how they are able to make sure that, me as Sasha Kaluri, I vote in my vote. And then if they don't get my vote, there is a consequence from that. But I also live in a country where there's only 24 million people. So if we chose not to vote, you'd get 2 cats and a dog that would probably vote because, neither one is right. My other thing is that it's heartbreaking that person A and person B are neither people that I really have that much faith in. As much as I would really like to be able to say Biden is the answer, I can't believe that Trump is even around, but I've also done a lot of research on Biden, and that hurts me to think that that's the best option. That hurts me as well, because the country is in such a turmoil state that if that's your best option, that breaks my heart. I have big hopes for Kamala Harris. Big hopes. I do.
Okay.
I've got to put my faith somewhere. Hey, that's what it is. You've got to. That's the choices that we've got.
Thank you so much, Sasha. Believe it or not, 30 minutes is gone. But before we wrap, because we hardly had a discussion, I think we're just gonna have to make our answers shorter on the next show. But I'm gonna give each person a chance to leave a final say on this discussion. I'm asking you what you want your final message to be with the viewers, and let's try to keep it down to a minute.
No, I mean, first I want to thank people who are watching. I think it's important to discuss these issues, to get multiple sides, multiple opinions on this. A lot of shows that are currently on just basically are either on the right, on the left. You don't hear both sides and how other people feel. It's a pleasure being on this panel with everybody that was on. I think the opinions were great. I just want to say thank you for everybody to be on and give their opinion.
Danielle, it looks like you've stopped. Thank you, Adib. We'll come back to you now, Danielle. What's your final message for the viewers? Let's try to keep it down to a minute.
It's all about, first of all, that we're not cheating. We're not a society of cheaters, and we're only trying to move the pandemic to a lower level and find solutions. I disagree with how they've handled any of this, because Fauci did not come out and order everybody to be on vitamin D and C. That's medical negligence. So that's what I'm upset about. And if you look on my website, fortifyhealth.com, you'll see that I have some solutions that would help mitigate COVID in case you get it. And so that's the thing. The pandemic has to be dealt with. Biden has an okay plan. It's better than Trump minimizing a very serious problem, and that we have to do something about global warming, and Biden's going to do it.
Thank you so much, Danielle. Amanda, what is the final message you want to leave with the viewers?
I just want to say that we should really be hopeful. There are really serious days ahead with what's going on in terms of the elections. And when that's all cleared up, there's a lot of work that has to be done in terms of getting the virus under control. The economy is basically, in my opinion, fake. What's going on is not what it really is. There's a lot of money that was just pumped into the system that has no support. It's just making things look good to the outside, but it's really not. The environment, of course, we have to work, but that's my area anyway. So I am very, very concerned about that. As to healthcare, definitely, I don't even know. That's like Adib said, that voting is a human right. So is healthcare. Healthcare is a human right. And as Sasha said, and that's something I just recently learned about Australia, that voting is compulsory. I would like to see voting become compulsory in the United States. And that way, there will be changes to the entire system, because you wouldn't have people saying, oh, this person didn't vote, that person. As she said, I don't care if it's 300 and more million people here, there's a way to get it done. The techies know how to do that. It can be done. Voting right now in this country, it's a privilege. When it becomes compulsory, then it will be a right. That's how I see that.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Yeah. Sasha.
I guess that I think that regardless of politics, we need to find and create a space that we are all one and we all care about each other and we do everything to make humankind all one, and to understand that regardless of politics, because we can sit here and argue about politics for hundreds and hundreds of years, but at the end of the day, what's going on in my household, what's going on with the people around me, what's going on with the lives that I share with the people that I interact with on a daily basis, that's got nothing to do with politics. That's got to do with our own human spirit. And that's what we need to focus on rather than the politics side of it. And once we get that right, then the politics will have to follow, because it'll almost be a driving energy that people will demand that. But what's happening is we're not even getting along in our own families. So how can we possibly get along as nations or states or whatever it might be?
Well, thank you so much. And you know what? I thought I would lighten up the air tonight. This is very intense. And so I have a riddle for the panel.
Oh, let's go.
If Bob has 30 chocolates and he eats 25, what does he have? Who has the answer? Okay, what's the answer, Danielle?
Diarrhea.
Close, but that's not close, but that's not the answer. Anyone else wants to try?
What color? What color diarrhea, doctor?
Any other guesses?
I would say 30.
No, let me read the question again. If Bob has 30 chocolates and he eats 25, what does he have?
Well, technically, he's still got them. They're just half 30 of them in his stomach and 25 are out. So he's still got them.
So no more guesses? He has diabetes.
Ah!
Shame on you, doctor. Shame on
Was
you.
getting there. Just getting to
That was a little cleaner than diarrhea. That was good.
Okay.
You know, guys, I am so grateful. I think this was great. And hopefully as we do more of these discussions, we will become perfect at it. And so we can, probably make it a little bit longer, because when you have this many people on a panel, 30 minutes is definitely not enough. But I would like to thank each of our panelists for being on the show and for having the courage to share their views candidly. This platform is open to all views, religions, ethnicities, cultures, and differences, even gender non-specific. Our goal is to agree to disagree, because we believe it's possible and necessary for us to create this necessary shift in the world. Join us in breaking stereotypes and molds. Let us embrace diversity, because we believe when we embrace diversity, you embrace humanity. Thank you for watching Diversity Matters, and we will be back soon with another hot topic. See you next time.
Bye.
Broadcasting from Silicon Valley, California, this is Conversations with Jennylyn.